This is absolute anti-racial propaganda.
Congress, they have these hearings, and mostly in these hearings, it's people being exposed to be complete idiots, and nothing really happens afterwards. But here is a really interesting video. This is Congressman Greg Murray talking to the Secretary of the Smithsonian, Lonnie G. Bunch III, and you will see how anti-white woke propaganda has even leaked into the Smithsonian. Enjoy.
This is in the Smithsonian, assumptions about white culture. And it says rugged individualism, family structure, emphasis on scientific method, history, Protestant work ethic, religion, no tolerance from deviation from a single God concept. This is absolute anti-racial propaganda. Why would anything like this be in the Smithsonian Institute?
Now, it's my understanding, what I think you're seeing, I can't really see it, is
you should be very well versed in this. You were the head of the Smithsonian at the time.
No, let me explain. What it is there was a document that is the whiteness document that was put up online that I took down immediately because I think that the document itself was wrong and flawed. I do think, however, it's important for the Smithsonian to help the country grapple with questions of race. So I'm not going to run away from that. But I agree with you very much that that document is not the kind of document that should be at the Smithsonian. And if it's what I think it is, I pulled that down.
How does this help us with race?
That's why I pulled it down. All it does
is divide us. This is divisive language saying that white people, we don't tolerate any deviation except a single God concept.
Like I said,
how is that helpful? I don't understand that. I wish someone could explain that to me.
I want to give the head of the Smithsonian credit for just a moment, which is that they did actually take that document down. And what he said related to the Smithsonian and any museum that it's relevant, dealing with the issues of race in an honest way would be just fine, right? Like that's like a kid in a public school learning about race, learning about an honest assessment of history. Nobody's debating that. The reason I'm showing you that is the fact that that document was part of a Smithsonian exhibition, that it was on their website, that it got in there in the first place, tells you all you need to know about the people that are running the Smithsonian. It tells you all you need to know about, again, how this thing has infected all of our institutions. So yes, it is just fine that you took it down, that you did the right thing when you were exposed, right? But the fact that that got there, that kids learned from that, imagine you're a white kid at the Smithsonian with your class, and you walk into the Smithsonian, you walk into any museum where they're teaching any of this nonsense, and you, by the nature of your skin color, are the guilty one. And then let's flash forward a little bit. So now you're taught that. You're in your 6th, 7th grade, you go to the Smithsonian, you read about how basically you're a white supremacist and your ancestors were all evil and everything else. Now you're in high school and you're applying for colleges, and suddenly you realize that it's going to be much harder for you to get into a college because you're white, and because equity has now been pushed into all of these colleges, they're going to take the black kid instead of you. But you make it into some school, not a school that you should have got into. You make it into some other school because they're discriminating against you as a white person or a Jewish person, or by the way, they're doing it to Asians too. I don't think Wu realizes that in Boston. But now it's a little also harder to get into grad school, or it's a little harder to get that job at that company because they have a DEI program in their system as well. Do you see how this could lead to an actual collapse of the entire American system when you take out meritocracy, when you take out believing that the individual is the most important thing, and you unearth all of the old racism, you just repackage the racism that we all got rid of?